It is good to be here. Folks, I came here today because, a funny story. Well, actually, okay, it's not really funny. Actually, it's really serious. There's like lots of extremely scary things happening in the political landscape right now. Do you agree? And this country really, really needs some help. And, guys, hold on one second, everybody. Just hold on a second. Are you sure I'm the right guy for this? Okay, you think so? Yeah? Am I right? Okay. All right, she says yes. Okay, all right. You know what? I am supposed to be here. Okay? And so are all of you supposed to be here. Because sometimes, folks, the Lord works in mysterious ways. Especially, well, that's right. And especially in the political landscape, sometimes I'm like, Lord, what are we doing? You're testing our faith here, baby. But God is good. Thank you. Oh. Now, here's the thing. I've heard that there is always a bigger picture that makes it all make sense. And I am really hoping that that is what is happening right now. Because, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, think about it. Think about all the things that had to happen for you to be here right now. Think of all, right, I mean, like right here, in this town, in this room, tonight, right here. All of the decisions that you had to make or not make that brought you here today. And I believe that you're all here for a really good reason. You are here because you matter. You are here because you can affect positive change in the world. You have the ability to change the future of the world we're living in right now. Your choices now and the decisions that you make next week can affect millions of people and even save lives. And what? Now, I know that some of these students behind me right here, some of you guys are probably pre-med and you're learning how to save lives. But the thing is, you can be a hero right now. You can be a hero next week before you graduate. Be a hero then. Did you guys know that in 2018 there was a primary race in Baltimore County that was decided by 17 votes? 17. Or that in New Mexico in 2016 there was a state house seat that was decided by 2 votes. 1-2. There's a lady right there and a lady right there. 2 votes. 1-2. Right there. And also in 2016 there was a Vermont State Senate primary that was determined by 1 vote. 1 vote, folks. 1 vote can change the path of the world as we know it. 1 vote. I mean, one vote. How many people are in this room right now? Okay, everybody who is in this room, raise your hand. Everybody in the room, raise your hand. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's like 100. Okay, no, I'm pretty sure. Listen, here's what I know. It's more than 1. Okay? The bottom line is there are enough people in this room to affect lasting change. And here's the thing, though, folks. We have to work together. We've got to not only do it ourselves. We've got to bring our neighbors. We got to bring our friends. We got to bring our co-workers. We got to bring our families. And they also have to vote. Now, there are some issues that are happening right now in this country that are just, okay. I had to walk away for a second because there's some issues. And there's issues of rights, ladies and gentlemen. The rights of our friends who are in the LGBTQIA+ community. rights for folks who need access to affordable health care, which, you know, is anybody who has a body. Rights for people who should be supported even if they grew up in a family that is a different religion than yours. And rights for, and this one gets me now. Rights for women to have control over their own bodies. Their own bodies. I don't understand. Folks. Yes! I mean, folks, how is it 2022 and these things are still out there? And by the way, like that isn't enough. We also have the environment. I mean, haven't we figured out yet that in order for us to live a productive and happy life, we need to have a planet to live on? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Is it just me? It's not me. It's you too. It's also you. You want a planet to live on? And you also want a planet to live on. I love it. Okay, now I don't feel so alone. I'm glad you're with me. Okay. 7 days. 7 days to save this planet. Took 7 days to make it. Let's save it again in 7 days. Why not? Why not? Okay. Who here has a plan in place to vote next week? Okay? You do. You do that. What is your name? Cindy? Cindy, are you a student here? You're not a student here. Woo! Okay, all right, thank God, because I was going to try to guess your major. And my first guess would have been aviation. Wait. Aviation? Aviation? Okay, all right. But Cindy, you have a plan. You have a plan to vote next week. And that's awesome. That's awesome. And I mean, do you like clean water? You like clean water? And you like science and stuff like that? Okay, great. Okay, good. Yeah. Folks, I'm just asking, because this is like some really scary shit out here right now. This is the most important election of our time. And I know the last one was, but this one is even bigger. And when I say that, I also mean that we need to be voting on the local level. The local level. Because those seeds that get planted on the local level, they affect everything from judges to law enforcement to our taxes getting raised so billionaires don't have to pay more, for gouging gas prices, you know, those barrels, they got the barrels. How everything big or small is regulated is decided by elections like this one. So everybody, please vote. Vote Crist. Vote Demings. Vote Democrat. Up and down and sideways and backwards. Just vote. Vote Democrat, folks. Your vote counts. Every single one of your votes counts. And you all know, hey, look, this is Florida, okay? Somewhere there's an old white Republican dude, he's out there still looking for some hanging chads, okay? So let's all get out there and get this done and do not give them any reason to recount anything. Let's get some landslides going in here. I want to say thank you, Cindy, and thank you, everyone, for all of the choices that you had to make along the way in your life to get here today. And thank you in advance for the choices that you're going to make to get out and vote next week. Thank you very much. Thank you, Florida.
Demings. Now, you all know Val's platform. I came down here from Hollywood to cuss y'all out. Just like I cussed out Tupac Shakur. How many of y'all know that movie with Janet Jackson? I told Tupac, boy, shut up and put the cigarette out. But I didn't say it like that. Now, guys, listen to me. Honey, you got to be quiet. I can hear you, but I got this speech to make. And this speech is going to go around the world. Oh, you're going to keep, I'll have you removed, darling. I will. Okay? Hold on to yourself. Thank you. I need to concentrate. I want to deliver for Val today. Now, say something else. I got to have you removed, okay? So don't do it. Thanks, Pumpkin. Now, Val's mother was a maid. My mother was a maid. Val's father was a janitor. My father was a janitor. Val is the youngest of 7 children. I'm the youngest of 7 children. So I know what she's come through. Huh? Because I know what I have come through, despite it all. But we both rose to the top, didn't we? I'm a movie star, and she's the next senator of Florida. Y'all, Val Demings is the truth. Because she knows what a lie is. She also knows, like me, you cannot lie your way to greatness. Marco Rubio is a liar. He is, y'all see that debate? Lied his ass off. Val Demings will win. She will win. She will win. So I say to Marco and all those other weak men, before you lie to us, remember Rosa sat on that bus. Before you tell your tale, remember Mandela sat in that jail. Before you do anything, you remember Dr. King. Before you cheat and steal, I dare you to Google Emmett Till. Emmett Till, you say it. Emmett Till. Say it again, Emmett Till. say this to all of you. And I know you listen to me because I know you love me. Oh, they want me to do one more. Now listen, I didn't come down here from Hollywood to tiptoe through the tulips. I came to tell y'all, you better vote. And let me tell you something. Anybody can get up here and scream vote. I want you to call that auntie that's sitting there drinking a Coke and smoking a cigarette and get her registered. The ones that say, oh, honey, I don't believe in that shit. That's who you drag to the poll, whether they believe it or not. You say, come on, auntie, come on with me, and I'll buy you some McDonald's when it's over. Not that I eat McDonald's, but you know some of the old folks do. I also came down here to tell you that human beings have 2 jobs on this planet, and only 2. The first one is self-care. Didn't expect that, did you? Will y'all do me a favor and start eating healthy? Do me a favor and start moving your body. Do me a favor and continue educating yourself. Do me a favor and love each other. Love is the glue that holds us together. See, Val Demings is gonna win Senate. What are you gonna win? See, I go into the souls of people. Like I said, you already know Val's platform. Jenifer Lewis is asking you to take care of yourself. Too many of us are depressed. You know, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I went and got help, y'all. You imagine an alpha woman like me? You imagine an alpha woman like me saying 3 of the hardest words on planet Earth. Oh, I had to make a call, y'all, and say these 3 words. I need help. I wouldn't be here. You want to know when it started? When I finally came to the moment? It was when I wasn't cast in Waiting to Exhale. I just knew I had the job. Well, I didn't. And sometimes you're not going to get the job. Did I cry? Did I scream? Was I hurt? But I got up, didn't I? I got up, didn't I? I'm from Keegan-Michael, Missouri. It sits on the border of Ferguson, Missouri. Even as a little girl, I was warned never to go to Ferguson alone. But Ferguson had a movie theater, and Keegan-Michael did not. So I'd go over there, I'd sneak up in the balcony every Saturday, eat my 25-cent popcorn, and imagine myself in the movies. And now, 68 movies later, episodic television shows, 4 Broadway shows, 200 concerts all over the world, including Antarctica. Oh, I'm not the one you want to mess with. Who gonna check me, boo? I'm sure Chief is back there going, ooh, I hope she finished without cussing too much. Did I let the racism in Ferguson stop me? You know why I didn't pay no attention to it? Because I wasn't looking for it. Don't wake up looking for dumb shit. You take care of you. Take care of yourselves. It's the people I love. I didn't come down here. I came down here to win. And we're going to win. All right, now, because I am used to standing ovations, I need you to give me one. Come on, get up. Hey, wait a minute, y'all. You people down here in the wheelchair, you got to stand up too. You know, I did the hospital audiences, you know, a lot of old people in wheelchairs, and they're being taken care of. And I went in there and did a show for them. Boy, I said that they hollered. So then I knew it wasn't insulting to them, so I did it all the time. There ain't nobody even in a wheelchair. Listen, I'm gonna finish with this. I love you. I love you because I've learned to love myself. I want you to do the same thing. You take care of yourselves. You hear me? Then let me hear you to know what I'm talking about. Go ahead.
Hello, Miami-Dade. Are you excited to hear from President Joe Biden? Are you ready to elect Val Demings to the United States Senate? Are you ready to defeat Ron DeSantis? I feel your energy. Everybody needs to vote. Everybody. Can you say vote? One more time. I want to hear you say it. Listen, we're in the final sprint. You got it right. The stakes could not be higher for Florida. The stakes could not be higher for America. Florida's future is on the ballot. Our fundamental freedoms are on the ballot. And my friends, a woman's right to choose is on the ballot. And you know, Ron DeSantis wants to do to America what he's done to Florida. And we can stop him right here, right now. And when we win, we will send shockwaves across America. So, did you watch the debate last week? What happened to that guy? DeSantis would not commit to serving a full 4-year term. He spends more time talking to extremists across the nation than he does to our fellow Floridians. He's also refused to answer the question on how far he'll go to ban abortion, because he'll go all the way. And he doesn't want Floridians to know how extreme his plans are. We can stop DeSantis cold if we work like hell, if we sprint to the finish line, if we spend every single minute getting every single person to vote. We will protect our freedoms and we will win. You know, God bless you. When I was your governor, we protected the freedom of women. We made sure they could have their own decision about their body. Ron's abortion ban does not even include exceptions for rape or incest. That is barbaric. And you get to stop it a week from tonight if you vote. On day one of my administration, I will sign an executive order that will protect a woman's right to choose. When I was your governor, I made it easier to vote. DeSantis has made it harder to vote. He even created his own election police and arrested Floridians. You can't make this up. And arrested Floridians who are allowed to register by his own administration. It's unbelievable. It's about intimidation. It's about not supporting democracy. And that's who he is. But Floridians, he is a bully. Got that right. But Floridians don't scare easily, Ron. And we will vote. And we will defeat you next Tuesday. I feel you. I feel you. When I was your governor, property insurance premiums went down. Under DeSantis, they're among the highest in America. And he hasn't done a thing about it. When I was your governor, we stopped huge increases in your utility bills. Under DeSantis, those bills have skyrocketed. Skyrocketed. Florida Power and Light, Duke, all of them. Every single rate increase they've asked for during the DeSantis administration, he said, yes, of course, every single time. When I was your governor, I brought us together. And we united Florida. We brought our beautiful Florida together. I try to live by what is called the golden rule. do unto others as you would have done unto you. Well, as you know and I know, Ron is tearing us apart, attacking anyone who doesn't look like him, doesn't act like him, doesn't think like him. And they are women, people of color, LGBTQ community, teachers, doctors, scientists. He punishes business like Disney World because they disagree with him on a bill. It's unconscionable. Governor DeSantis only cares about the White House. He doesn't give a damn about your house. He wages culture wars because he knows if voters focus on real issues like women's choice and the soaring cost of living in Florida, he couldn't win. This guy has spent millions distorting the truth. You see the ads on TV every day. I know you do, so do I. He's got 60 billionaires supporting his campaign. 60. He's outspending us, but he'll never, ever outwork us. Look, I know they say we're the underdog. That's fine. That's fine. Grassroots is right. Because I fought for underdogs my entire life. My entire life. Families struggling to make ends meet. Underpaid teachers. Women who deserve the freedom to make their own decisions about your own body. That's why we're fighting so hard. To build a Florida for all. To protect our freedoms and to save our Florida. Keep fighting with me. Turn in that mail ballot. Go vote early. Make sure everyone you know votes next Tuesday. Let's bring this state back together. Let's do what's right for our Florida. God bless you and God bless America. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, hello, Miami Gardens! What a joy it is for me to be here with you today. Are we ready to win? Are we ready to win? Guess what, Florida? I am sharing the stage tonight with the President of the United States. Yes. As the youngest child of two amazing Americans, my parents, Eloise and James Butler, a maid and a janitor. My parents didn't have much, but they were good, decent, and honest people. And they taught their little children, their 7 children, to be decent, respectful, and honor. In other words, my parents didn't lie, they didn't steal, and they didn't cheat. My mom and dad worked hard, sometimes 7 days a week. I can still see them coming home at night tired, but determined to give their children a better life. Come on, people in this auditorium, I know you know, they sacrifice for their children because they believe that by working hard and playing by the rules, their children could achieve anything in this country. Yes, 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 can achieve anything in America. You see, my parents' dream is my dream. Because of their sacrifice, I was the first in my family to graduate college. This is an American dream story. The first woman to serve as Orlando's chief of police. Now serving in the United States House of Representatives. And I'm running for the United States Senate. Yes, Florida, I'm running for the United States Senate, and guess what? I'm running to win. I'm running to win. I'm running because everything that you care about and everything that I care about is under attack. The American dreams my parents believed in is slipping away. And it's happening because career politicians like Marco Rubio does not fight for us. I know y'all know. Florida, I know you know the truth. I know you know the truth. There are no alternative facts. Alternative facts are lies. Marco Rubio does not show up for work. And based on what I know, when you don't show up for work, you lose your job. And guess what, young people? When he shows up, he votes against lowering costs. When he shows up, he votes against lowering costs of prescription drugs, lowering the cost of health care, and he votes against protecting constitutional rights. You see, Marco Rubio wants to take us back to a time when women were treated like second-class citizens. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not going back. I'm not going back. I'm not going back. You see, Rubio wants to criminalize doctors and supports a constitutional amendment to take away a woman's right to choose. I'm not going back. I'm not going back. And right now, he's supporting a federal abortion ban. But let me tell you this. Marco Rubio's new federal abortion ban is just the beginning. He wants to ban abortions with no exceptions for rape and incest. Now, I stand before you tonight as someone who investigated cases of rape and incest. Matter of fact, a lot of rapists are behind bars right now because of my 27 years at the police department. Well, Senator Rubio, I have a message for you. Rape is a crime. Incest is a crime. Abortion is not. Abortion is not. Abortion is not. So Florida, we're not shutting up. We're not sitting down. We're not going back. I refuse to allow my 4 granddaughters to grow up in a country where they have fewer rights than I have. You see, Florida, we're going to fight and fight and fight some more for a woman's right to choose. Yeah. That's why this election matters. Protecting the American dream matters, and protecting our freedoms matter. Am I right about that? Yeah, I know I'm right. I know I'm right. Florida, I know it's not going to be easy. It's important to us. What's important to us and what matters to us is never easy. Protecting constitutional rights is never easy. Protecting a woman's right to choose, protecting rights of equality, believing that every person should have access to health care is not easy. But with your help, or with the help of every person here, ordinary people doing extraordinary things from the Panhandle to the Keys. Everyone who believes in the American dream that my parents believed in, that I believe in, that I know you believe in, we are going to win. And when we win, we'll give Florida the leader our state deserves in the United States Senate. So Florida, let's come together and do this. Let's put people over politics and do this for the people. Miami Gardens, I feel a victory coming on. I feel a win coming on. Do you feel it? Florida, with your help, Charlie Crist will be elected the next governor. And with your help, I will be elected the next United States Senator to represent Florida.
my fellow Floridians. Buenas noches, hermanos hispanos. My name is Macarena, yes, like the song, Iglesias, and I am a proud Democrat. I am also very proud to work organizing with the Florida Democratic Party. We are honored to have President Joseph R. Biden with us tonight. Let's give him a big, huge Florida welcome, will you? Let's give him a welcome. Yeah! We also have our next governor, Charlie Crist. Our next lieutenant governor, Carla Hernandez. Our next senator, Chief Val Demings. And all of our outstanding Democratic candidates running for office here tonight. In 2017, Joe Biden wrote, "We are living through a battle for the soul of this nation." That chilling statement could not have been more accurate. In 2020, we the people elected the men and the Congress that pushed back the forces that sought to destroy our democracy. His accomplishments less than 2 years into his presidency are historic. His administration has given us the Infrastructure Law, the Inflation Reduction Act, the Chips and Science Act, which brings manufacturing jobs to America. He took action to combat COVID-19. He expanded healthcare access to millions of Americans. He signed multiple bipartisan bills to honor and improve care for veterans. And we have had the strongest stretch of job growth in American history. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. But that battle for the soul of our nation is not over. The MAGA Republicans seek to erase all the progress made not only by this president, but by all preceding generations of Americans who fought, sacrificed, bled, and died for all the freedoms, rights, and benefits we hold dear. They have already taken away a women's right to choose, and they will not stop there. They want to cut Social Security, Medicare, and roll back the protections safeguarding our citizens. Now listen up. Our democracy is only as strong as those willing to protect it. Dear friends, our country needs us now as much as at any time in history. We must do more to save the great soul of our nation. We, the people, we, the people. We, the people, are the strength of our democracy. Let us resolve to stand together to save our nation. President Biden needs a Congress that will work with him to keep our country moving forward. We are the only ones that can ensure it. We have the power. Now, we must use it. Vote, volunteer, mobilize, and never stop fighting for our country. We have organizers at every exit ready to sign you up. And you can go to joebiden.com right now and get involved. Participate in your democracy. Are we ready for the blue tsunami? Can we get a blue wave? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Are you fired up? Are you ready to go? All right. And now, I heard you. That's okay. And now, sir, it is my honor. Guess who's coming? Yes! It is my honor to introduce our President, Joe Biden.
Florida. Well, thank you. And you've been, well, as my mother would say, God love you all. You got caught in the front pew, no way to stand, huh? Well, God love you. Well, thank you very much. Look, Macarena, thanks for that introduction. It's great to be at Florida Memorial University, one of the nation's great HBCUs. I'm a big fan of HBCUs. I got my start at one of those other HBCUs, Delaware State University. Okay, that's pretty good, man. Anyway. Anyway, look, you know, talking to students about my administration's plan to provide student loan relief for working and middle-class folks. Talking about my historic commitment to HBCUs that included $5.8 billion in investment in HBCUs. But let me tell you, one of the great ways to honor HBCU's legacy is to vote, vote, vote. Look, you can do it. I'm telling you, you can make the difference. Last time I was in Florida, was almost a month ago, just after Hurricane Ian hit. We surveyed the damage on the ground in Fort Myers and the surrounding community areas by helicopter. The damage and destruction was historic and horrific. It was almost unimaginable. And I said then, it's going to take not weeks and months, but years to fully recover and rebuild. But I gave the people of Florida my commitment to this country's commitment that you will not go through this alone. We ain't going home. My administration has been following through on those commitments to get the people of Florida what they need as fast as we can and help you rebuild. So far, $1.7 billion in assistance has gone to this state. We've set up 23 disaster recovery centers where survivors can register for help, and FEMA has performed over 180,000 home inspections. The U.S. Small Business Administration has approved another $460 million for low-interest loans to business owners, renters, and homeowners. And like I said, this is just the beginning of our effort. We'll be with you every step of the way. We're not going home. Folks, it's great to be with the next governor of Florida, Charlie Crist. And great to be the next U.S. Senator, Val Demings. I know them both really well. Charlie's a guy you know and trust. He's always working with you, fighting for working families like yours. He was a great governor before, and he'll make an even greater governor again because of who he's going to be replacing. Folks, whether it's building an economy that works for everyone or keeping communities safe, the protection to the right to choose, Chief Val Demings, she's the real deal. Defined by one word, commitment. Commitment. She does what she says. And folks, she's fighting for seniors to protect their Social Security and Medicare. She literally put her life on the line to serve and protect the people of this state. And when it comes to public safety, she knows what it takes. Folks, imagine Chief Demings on the beat in the United States Senate. I can hardly wait. I can hardly wait. They ain't seen nothing yet. They haven't seen nothing yet. Oh, man, you got a hell of a delegation. And, folks, we need to elect Charlie and Val, and we need to elect Democrats up and down the ballot, including your outstanding members of Congress, Debbie and Frederica and Sheila. If we do that, Florida's not going to be only a better place, so will America be. Look, on a very serious note, that's why we're all here. That's why we're all here. 7 days. 7 days until the most important election in our lifetime. You've heard me say it before, we're at an inflection point in history. It comes about every 5 or 6 generations. So much has changed in America and around the world that the decisions we make, the decisions you make over the next 2 to 3 years are going to determine the fate of this country, not a joke, for the next decade to 2 decades. There's a lot at stake, but so much opportunity. Put the paper down. I'm not coming and getting it, okay? All right? She's holding up a paper for you. She wants to send me a letter here. Well, look, let's be real clear about one important thing. This election is not a referendum. It's a choice. It's a choice between 2 vastly different visions for America. I've said from the beginning that my objective when I ran was to build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, an economy that rewards work, not just wealth, an economy that works for everybody, so poor folks have a chance, middle class does better, and if they do that, the wealthy will still do very well. It's a fundamental shift in work. That's what's working now. compared to the mega, I call them, trickle-down economics that the Republicans offer these days. Folks, this ain't your father's Republican Party. This is a different breed of cat. Just look at the facts. When I took office, the economy was in ruins. This is not because of me, it's because of what I inherited. My predecessor was the first president since Herbert Hoover to lose jobs. He had fewer jobs when he left office than when he came to office. Last president that happened to was literally Herbert Hoover. And look, here's the deal. Unemployment was at 6.4%. Hundreds of thousands of small businesses had gone out of business, closed, bankrupt. But today we're in a better place. 10 million jobs created since I took office. A record in any administration. And over 700,000 manufacturing jobs with good pay. Where's it written that we can't be the manufacturing capital of the world? I mean it. Think about it. Unemployment is down from 6.5 to 3.5%, the lowest in 50 years. Black, Latino, and Asian communities, unemployment is way down. 5.4 million Americans applied to start new businesses just since I've been on. 5.4 million, the highest ever in American history. Look, Putin's invasion of Ukraine sent gas prices soaring around the world. But because of the actions we've taken, gas prices are coming down here at home. They're down $1.25. I just passed a gas station on the way. $3.25 when it was $5 when I took off this summer. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the deal. It's a difficult time. Americans across the country have stepped up and are doing the right thing. But not everyone. The oil industry is not doing the right thing. They haven't met their commitment to invest in America and support the American people. One by one, major oil companies have reported their profits for the last 2 quarters. I mean, profits so high, it's hard to believe. Last week, Shell Oil announced that it made $9.5 billion in profit in 3 months, the 3rd quarter. 9.5. That's almost twice as much as they made in the 3rd quarter of last year. Exxon's 3rd quarter profits were $18.7 billion. Nearly triple what Exxon made last year. The most it's made in its entire 152-year history. In the last 6 months, while the rest of the country is going through hell, 6 of the largest oil companies made more than $100 billion in profits. $100 billion in less than 200 days. It's outrageous. And these companies are taking the average profits they've been making by refining oil over the last 20 years. If they were doing that instead of the outrageous profits they're making today, they could pass on the rest of us, the consumers. The price of gas would be down another 50 cents. They're the facts. Instead, they're buying back their own stocks because that's how the CEOs get paid. They're giving the profits to shareholders, outrageous profits, and the windfalls of war. Yesterday, I made it clear the industry has a choice. Either begin to invest in America or pay higher taxes on your excessive profits and face other restrictions. You know, it's amazing. Even though my Republican friends in Congress seem to be hoping for a recession, the last week's GDP report came out. You know what it shows? The economy is in fact growing. In fact, the economy grew 2.6% last quarter. And although it may not feel that way, people's incomes went up the last quarter more than inflation. Economic growth is up. Price inflation is down. Real incomes are up. And gas prices are down. But here's the most important thing to me. Exports, what we make and export from America, are up, meaning we're making things again here in America. And today we're shipping products overseas instead of shipping jobs overseas, like we've been doing for much too long. You got it. There's nothing we can't do. And here's another thing. My predecessor, he promised to have an infrastructure week. For 4 years he promised infrastructure. It became a laugh line. Well, guess what? We're creating infrastructure decade. We're going to build America the way it should be built. Create once-in-a-generation investments in our nation's roads, highways, bridges, railroads, ports, airports, water systems, high-speed internet. And by the way, that includes a $16 million grant to the Port of Miami, which I'm sure your governor will take credit for somewhere along the line, to expand and upgrade its rail and cargo gates to make the port more efficient. Val Demings voted for it. Her opponent voted against it. The American people are beginning to see the benefits of an economy that works for them. Families have more net worth than they did before the pandemic. Fewer families are behind in their mortgages, their credit card bills, and before the pandemic. And importantly, more Americans have health insurance than before the pandemic. And you know, we pay the highest prescription drug prices of any country in the world. Same manufacturer, same drug. You buy it in Miami and you buy it in Paris, and it costs considerably less if you buy it in Paris. By the same exact drug, the same manufacturer. And ladies and gentlemen, so without a single Republican vote in Congress, guess what? We Democrats took on and beat Big Pharma. For the first time, I've been trying for a year, we beat them. We flat beat Big Pharma. They spent millions of dollars trying to prevent it. I'm serious. I've been fighting these guys for a long time, man. Finally, with every single Democrat voting with us. And by the way, you know what one of the results is? We're capping out-of-pocket costs for prescriptions for seniors to $2,000 a year. Guess what? No matter whether they're paying $10,000, $12,000, $14,000 a year as they are for some cancer drugs, they're not going to have to pay a single penny more than $2,000 a year, period. And by the way, one more thing. If Big Pharma continues to raise drug prices faster than inflation, guess what? They're going to have to write a check to Medicare to cover the difference. No, that's the law. That's the law. By the way, last year, Big Pharma raised the price of 1,200 drugs they manufactured faster than the rate of inflation, and they didn't do a damn thing to make the product better. Same exact product. We're going to put a stop to that, I promise you. And one more significant change we just made. We're capping the cost of insulin for seniors on Medicare. You know how much it costs to make that insulin? The guy who invented it didn't patent it because he wanted it available for everybody. It cost $10 to produce it. And you know what the average price they're paying for it? $400. Well, guess what? They can't pay any more than, they can't get any more than $35 now. They'll make a good profit, no more. Instead of paying $400 a month. Folks, this can be a lifesaver for people. And I'm going back to make sure it's $35 a month for not just people on Medicare, but for every single American. I promise you, not a joke. I'm going to give more than hell. And on top of these actions, earlier this month, we lowered the cost of hearing aids. You know what? We made them available over the counter. Places like Walgreens and Walmart, saving $3,000 a pair, hear me? For millions of Americans with hearing loss. If I don't stop talking so loud, you're all going to have hearing loss. And on top of that, I'm going to do away with hidden, unfair fees known as junk fees, like surprise banking overdraft. You overdraft and you get another bill for $35. No more. Excessive credit card rate fees you didn't know about at $50. No more. And the Department of Transportation is working on rules to require airlines and travel sites to disclose all their fees up front. So when you're booking travel for the holidays, you know what extra amount you're going to have to pay for things like sitting next to your kid, or checking a bag, or changing your ticket, or even if you can change your ticket without additional cost. Folks, these add up. These are big numbers for people, and they don't know it's even coming. While Republicans want to pass tax breaks for the wealthy in corporate America, we're passing tax credits to help the American people weatherize their homes. For real. To buy energy-efficient appliances, get a tax credit. Put solar panels on your home. Help you buy an electric vehicle. Weatherize your home. Things that they say will save the average family another $500 a year and help save the environment. And one of these things I promised to do, because I understand the high cost of college, I took action to ease the burden of student debt for millions of working and middle class Americans. Over 90% who earn less than 75 grand, they're now giving up $20,000 of relief on student debt. 10 for most folks, another 10 if you had a Pell Grant. It's a game changer. I had to borrow to get to college. I had to work through college like my sons and daughters did. What have Republicans done about this? Well, guess what? They moaned and groaned about it. And they challenged it in court, which they're going to lose. And I'm not going to apologize for 1 second for helping working and middle-class families recover and reduce their student debt so we can be efficient to buy a home, start a business, and so much more. And by the way, I usually don't do this, but take a look who's complaining. The same Republican officials who voted for the unpaid $2 trillion tax giveaway that mainly benefited wealthy Americans, the biggest corporations. I don't want to hear it from MAGA Republicans who sit in Congress today. And by the way, those same folks who are complaining in Congress, they had hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars in the pandemic relief forgiveness loans. But they took it. They didn't attack it. Working middle-class Americans and student debt relief. For example, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Well, guess what? She took $180,000 in business loan forgiven. One of your congressmen right here in Florida, Vern Buchanan, said, our plan was reckless. Guess how much he got? $2.3 million for losses. Now look, how in the heck can they complain about that? We're trying to give students a break to be able to get out from under college debt. Look, folks, who in the hell do they think they are? And by the way, I already heard from my colleagues today how Republicans want to make permanent the Dobbs decision, denying a woman the right to choose. But I got news for them. We're going to elect a couple more U.S. senators or Democrats. And we're going to codify Roe v. Wade and a woman's right to choose. Fact. And by the way, if somehow they were able to pass this, I will veto it. The Republicans. Look, you know, you can hear from Republicans, my God, that big spending Democrat Biden, man, he's taking us in debt. Well, guess what? I reduced the federal deficit this year by $1,400 billion. $1,400 billion. The most in all American history. No one's ever reduced the debt that much. We cut the federal debt in half. And by the way, last year, I reduced the deficit by $350 billion. Well, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You're going to look, and we're going to go further and reduce the deficit over the next decade by another $250 billion. A big part of that is because corporations are finally having to pay a minimum tax. Oh, and we're hurting them. 15%. You pay more than 15%. But guess what? One more thing. On our watch, for the first time in 10 years, seniors are getting the biggest increase in Social Security checks, period. The checks are going to go up, and their Medicare premiums are going to go down at the same time. And I promise you, I'll protect Social Security. I'll protect Medicare. I'll protect you. And all of this is in stark contrast to the stated Republican agenda. They're all after what Charlie and Val, what their opponents are just the exact opposite of what they're for. And by the way, if I can note for just a second, I made a promise to you that I'd make my administration and the cabinet look like America. I have more African Americans, more Hispanic Americans, more women than men. More women than men in my cabinet. Not a joke. And guess what? I promised you I'd have a black woman on the Supreme Court. She's on the Supreme Court. And she's smarter than the rest of them. Look, I have appointed more black women to the appeals court. No, hear me out. More black women to the appeals court of the federal courts than every other president combined in American history. It's about time. It's about time. And folks, it goes across the board. For Hispanic Americans, Asian Pacific Islanders, oh, look, we have to have, and I've been arguing this for a long time, we have to have my administration and this government look like America. Look like America. That's why we're so strong. That's why we're who we are. And folks, by the way, I might note parenthetically, the more valedictorians in the major universities in America are women than men. That's a little thing. I went to the same university as my sister. I graduated. She graduated with honors, you know? Oh, you think I'm kidding? I'm not. Look, folks, Kevin McCarthy, he's the leader of the Republicans in the House of Representatives. Okay? The Republicans have they're saying it out loud now. They're saying what they want to do. Thank God for small favors. And here's what they say. He says their number one priority is to do the following: deny Medicare the right to negotiate drug prices. Oh, I'm serious. He wants to give the power back to Big Pharma, so they can continue to rip us off with prescription drug prices. He wants to end the cap on prescription drug costs at $2,000 on Medicare. Gone. Gone. $35 a month cap on insulin for seniors. Gone. Savings on health care premiums of $800 for millions of Americans on the Affordable Care Act. Gone. And, of course, they're still determined to repeal the Affordable Care Act overall, which means that anyone with a pre-existing condition would lose any access to health care. Folks, these protections are gone as well if the Republicans get their way. And look, tax credits for lower energy bills, gone. And the corporate minimum tax of 15% I signed into law, gone. Under the Republican plan, many of the biggest corporations will go back to paying zero taxes. Now, I think I'm making this up. It's a fact. In 2020, 55 of the Fortune 500 largest corporations made $40 billion in profit, and they paid zero in federal tax. That's their plan. It's reckless, it's irresponsible, it will make inflation worse, and it will badly hurt working class and middle class Americans. But that's not all. They're coming after your Social Security and Medicare, and they're saying it out loud. Your great Senator Rick Scott here in Florida. He's in charge of electing Republicans to the Senate. He laid out their plan clearly. He put Social Security and Medicare on the chopping block every 5 years. This means, listen closely to this, because it's deadly earnest. It means every 5 years, Congress will vote to cut, reduce, or completely eliminate Social Security or Medicare. If they do nothing, it goes out of existence. Not a joke. Then along came Ron Johnson, Wisconsin, the senator. He wants to do Scott one better. The argument among the Republicans is, should it be every 5 years or every single year? He thinks waiting 5 years is too long. He thinks Social Security and Medicare should be in the chopping block every single year. If Congress doesn't vote to keep it, the program goes away. This is not a joke. It's not just Social Security and Medicare. He wants to put veterans benefits, everything in the federal budget on the line. You know, to digress just a second, I lost my son not long ago. He was the Attorney General. He was a major in the United States Army, won the Bronze Star, the Conspicuous Service Medal. And because his hooch where he lived in Baghdad was next to a burn pit, just like those folks in 9/11, you know, that were exposed to all that toxic smoke. Well, guess what? They burned everything in those burn pits, from oil to human feces to everything. And he breathed that in for a year, and he died. More people are coming home with brain cancer, glioblastoma, the death sentence. He made it for 19 months when he got home, but that was it. And guess what? We had a thing that was to make sure I made a commitment in my State of the Union that we take care of our veterans. Only truly, by the way, we have a lot of obligations, but it's the only truly sacred obligation we have, to equip those we send to war and care for them and their families when they come home. And guess what? We had to fight like hell to get it passed. And not all Republicans voted for it. It provided for health care for those veterans who were going through it, just like Agent Orange. And it also said those who died, their families could get financial help for that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're doing. And now they're saying, these guys, they're saying they're not going to cooperate. They're not going to cooperate. If I don't agree to cut Social Security, Medicare, and other things, they're going to shut down the government, they say. At the end of the year, I know this is complicated stuff, but at the end of the year, every year, we have obligations of debt around the world. And we've never missed a payment, never once, not once. If we did, it would send the economy into a tailspin and a gigantic recession. Never once in all our history. You know what they're telling me? Unless I vote to reduce the benefits of Medicare and Social Security, they're going to threaten to take the country bankrupt. No, think about this. I mean, no, just think how totally irresponsible this is. The last time that happened, remember, McConnell tried to do it when Barack was president. I was vice president. I negotiated with him until late the New Year's Eve day, late that day, before we got to a place where he finally gave in, and we didn't renege on the debt. But guess what happened? We came so close. Remember, they reduced our standing, they reduced our credit standing in the world, and we had real problems. Even just the threat makes the rest of the world look at us like, what in God's name is that country doing? So, folks, they're being completely, thoroughly, totally irresponsible. And here's the deal. Nothing will create more chaos and more damage to the American economy than this. And folks, but their extremism isn't limited to social programs in the economy. They're coming after your right to vote and who can get to count the vote. No, for real. You got 350 so election deniers on the ballot on the Republican ticket. No, this is really deadly earnest, man. Democracy is on the ballot this year, along with your right to choose and the right to privacy. The bottom line is this. If Republicans gain control of the Congress and pass a nationwide ban on abortion, I'll veto it. But if Val Demings and more Senate Democrats get elected to keep control of the Senate and the House, we're going to codify Roe v. Wade in January. Make it the law of the land. Look, let me close with this. You've been a very patient audience, especially standing there all this time. It's been a rough 4 or 5 years. for hard-working Americans. For a lot of families, things are still tough. When things like this happened when I was growing up, we weren't poor. My dad, his greatest regret, he didn't have a college education. But he was a sophisticated man who read well, and he was really informed. But we lived in a 3-bedroom home with a split-level home and a new development with 4 kids and a grandpop and mom and dad. So it wasn't, but when prices went up, it affected us. We had discussions at the kitchen table. I mean, for real. Weren't poor, but we knew what it was like. By the way, I was talking with one of my colleagues here today, and when they came out, I got a phone call from my wife when she was up trying to help Patrick Leahy way back years ago, campaigning. Or I was up doing that call for her, and she's a teacher. So I called her early in the morning, like when you husbands and wives are away, you call your family. And I called and said, "How things going?" She said, "Fine." Knew someone. She said, "Did you read today's paper?" And I said, "They don't get the Wilmington News Journal up here in Burlington, Vermont, honey." She said, "Headline, top of the fold, Biden, poorest man in Congress. Is that true?" So I don't know what the hell, but I was all those years. But I had a good salary. I was still making more than most people because I had a senator's salary. I didn't think you're supposed to make money when you're in the Senate. I thought you were just supposed to take a salary. But folks, so like many of you, I come from a normal middle-class family. And guess what? We know what it's like when hard times hit. We get it. We get it. And right now, think about it. Look what we're doing on education for our kids. One of the reasons I came up with that $5.6 billion for HBCUs is we got to make sure they have the same laboratories, the same research capacities as everybody else has. Because they can do anything anybody else can do. They just don't have. And folks, one of the reasons why we led the world for so long, we were the first nation in the world to provide universal education, grades 1 through 12. Well, if anybody think if we were doing it for the first time now in the 21st century, going into the 20th, from the 20th century going into the second quarter of the 21st century, that we'd say 12 years is enough? Think 12 years is enough going into 20, 30, 40, 50? I don't think so. That's why we should have free early education at age 3. And that's why we should have 2 years of community college free. It makes us, these things make us stronger. So look, folks, there are bright spots where America's reasserting itself. We made enormous progress in just 20 months. We have so much more to do. Everything is at stake in just 7 days, God willing, for the state and this country that we love. So I call on Democrats and mainstream Republicans and independents to come together. We can meet the moment together. I truly believe we're just getting started. I've never been more optimistic about America's future than today. We just have to remember who we are. We're the United States of America. And there's nothing beyond our capacity. So vote. Get out to vote and win. Vote, vote, vote. May God bless you. May God protect our troops. God love you all. I mean it. Let's go. Let's do it. No excuses. Thank you.